Hello, Seasoned Chef Troy Vincent here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make an easy barbecue sauce, and I'm going to make some suggestions to you so that you can use other things than what I'm using here. There's a couple different ways you can start out. One is, here, let me flip around here. One way is just, you could actually start with a ketchup. Another way is tomato sauce. You can use as your base. You can use mustard as a base. You can also use, because some of the Carolina styles use a mustard or a vinegar, white vinegar base, or you can even use another kind of vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I have a couple different cane molasses, and I have a golden sorghum molasses, which is my favorite. Some hot sauce if you want to make it a little spicy, honey, brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, and like I said, ketchup, and we have some apple butter here. And what some people use is maybe like a grape or currant jelly. You can use a couple different kinds of butters, whatever you want to use. Apple butter, jelly, peach preserves, peach something, anything, any kind of fruit you can use to thicken it up. If you want a thinner sauce, I would suggest you use less. And stay more with more vinegar, make it a little tangier. The more vinegar you put, the tangier it gets. And if you want, you can, to make it even spicier, instead of just using the hot sauce, you could also use like some cayenne pepper. But again, I would say use caution, because you may get carried away and you may put too much. And I have a little bit of minced onion here, which sometimes I put a little bit in my barbecue sauce to add a little variety to it. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. So let's get rolling. Okay, we're going to start by adding the tomato sauce into a small pan. All right, let's we're going to put about half a cup of brown sugar. Yeah, that seems like a lot, but it's not really. It's going to get sweeter. Okay. You can actually even turn the burner on low. Alright. Okay, here we go again. What I wouldn't do for a camera stand. A little bit of the apple butter. Big heaping tablespoon apple butter. I'm gonna put about plate over here. I only put about a good tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of honey. About a quarter of a cup of Worcestershire sauce. About a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of minced onion. And a couple little things about this. I should turn this other light on here. That's actually not helping. If you heat your barbecue sauce up, you can cool it down, refrigerate it if you like it cold better. But I don't see the point, because if you're going to put it on hot meat and you want it to glaze up nice, it's going to glaze better if it's hot already. So it's going to actually glaze faster. Okay, next, 2 things that I always put in my barbecue sauce, unless I'm making a mustard base, and even then I use a mostly mustard, and then I'll still add some ketchup, believe it or not. about a tablespoon and a half or a tablespoon, Depends on what you want. This recipe is not, it's not set in stone. You can change it. If you don't like something, you can add more or less of something, but you still want to kind of basically get everything that I've put so far. Unless you don't like honey or you don't like apple butter, you could put something else. About a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of ketchup. Now I'm gonna go with the cane molasses today instead of the sorghum. Let me see if I can get this lid off while I'm holding it. Of course, no, I gotta set the camera down. One more second, hold on. Stubborn. I don't have a whole lot of this left, so I'm gonna put, and some people prefer like the blackstrap molasses. I don't like the blackstrap. They sell some kinds that have sulfur, some that are unsulfured. I don't really like the sulfur taste, definitely, and if I'm going to use a blackstrap, I would use an unsulfured, but I don't like the aftertaste of blackstrap molasses. It has a, I don't know, I don't agree with the aftertaste of blackstrap, so I don't use blackstrap. I use either golden sorghum or a cane molasses. Okay, now, if I want to add a little bit of spice to it, and I only put a couple drops because my wife does not like hot sauce, so about it. Just to give a little bit of spiciness. Alright. Now, you can even use a wire whisk if you don't like stirring with a spoon. This pot is actually a little small for this. And I have forgotten one little thing. The most important thing. What gives barbecue its tang? Vinegar. One thing I haven't added yet. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon to a quarter of a cup. It depends on how tangy you want yours. And now I'm going to let this stew for a little bit. Those onions, those dehydrated onions I put in there will, and I'll come back in a short bit and check on it. And you'll come with me, of course, so you can see. It doesn't look like tomato sauce anymore. And as it cooks down, it's going to get a little darker. Sometimes I'll put more molasses, so it may be a little darker. Sometimes I like my sauce a little thinner, so this is a little on the thinner side, and this is the way I like it sometimes, and it makes it easier to put, like if you have a squirt bottle, you can put it in the squirt bottle and squirt it on top of your meat or whatever you're cooking after you're done cooking it. So some people like to glaze it a little bit longer and put the sauce on while it's cooking. Just remember that makes a heck of a mess on your grill. It's hard to clean up. So you're ready to really sauce it after, but again, adding the flavor in. Sometimes I bake like chicken in the oven, and I'll line the pan with aluminum foil and put the chicken and the sauce in together and cook the chicken in the barbecue, so it actually gets a lot more barbecue flavor. Take the lid off after a while, then it glazes up real nice. Alrighty, obviously I had to change pans because the other pan was a little small. My mistake. I have two pans that are very similar, so the one was too small and started to cook over. That's one of the things you just happen to run into when you're cooking sometimes. I added a little bit more brown sugar and a little bit more ketchup and mustard to it, and a little pinch of vinegar just to give it a little bit more tang. If it gets too thick once it's cooking down, you can also add more vinegar at the end to make it a little bit more tangy if you like that tanginess. If it's not fruity enough, you could add more of whatever apple butter or whatever you're using. If it's not sweet enough, you can add more honey, you can add more brown sugar. It's just, there's no really set way to make barbecue sauce. If you just experiment around, then you'll find something you like, and I have like 5 or 6 different ways I make it. So again, I do a mustard base, I do a vinegar base, I do a ketchup base. There's even one method I use that uses a can of soup, tomato soup. So, and again, this was just tomato sauce. So,
do a sample test. No cook does anything without testing it. So let's try it.
Good, really good. Like I said, you can experiment around. You can even put more Worcestershire sauce in it if you like it. Whatever you prefer. Okay, to finish off here, this is the last. I cooked it for a while. It's thickened up quite a bit. You see? Very good. Very good barbecue sauce. It's got a glaze to it. It's tangy. It's sweet. Good, like I said. And today, you can take the whole pan to your grill if you want. If you got one of these guys, and of course this is a pretty long handle, so get one of those. If you're going to the grill with it, you can take it right to the grill and put it right on if you want to do that. But I would make one suggestion. If you're going to barbecue on your grill, wrap your grates with aluminum. It'll make it easier to clean because the barbecue sauce will burn onto the grates, especially when you have like brown sugar and the sweeteners and molasses and honey and all that in there. It's just gonna make it stick to your grates, and it's really hard to get off. You have to literally almost burn it off and waste gas and everything else. So, and today for me, I am actually taking shredded beef, and I'm gonna put beef in there. I'm gonna heat the whole thing up, and I'm gonna have barbecue shredded beef today. Okay, but that's the end of the video, and Seasoned Chef Troy Vincent out here. And like I said, you can do anything with barbecue sauce. More mustard, more vinegar, whatever base you wanted. You can even turn around and add a little apple cider vinegar. Here's some apple cider vinegar. You can throw some of that in there. Depends on what you like. Just experiment around. You'll find something you enjoy. Peek at the shredded beef once it's mixed in. And one last little thing, when I changed pans, I also realized I was using a metal spoon and a nonstick pan. That's a big no-no. I usually don't do it. I wasn't even thinking. And that's another reason why I changed to this pan, which doesn't have a nonstick coating. Seasoned Chef, take care. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions about anything you'd like to see on this channel, please let me know. I can do any sauce, any dressing. Like if you want to learn to make ranch or anything like that, just put a request in my comments and like and subscribe. Thank you.